Hi there. Today we are going to see some concepts of lines and angles. And it's a very important concept when it comes to any kind of further education as well when you're doing in mathematics. It's a geometry concept of geometry, which helps you to understand the concepts of triangles as well. Now, before we go directly jump into lines and angles, we are going to go from the basics, some basic concepts and everything. Okay. So basically, when we are looking at lines and angles, what is that we actually see is what we're going to see right now. Okay, I'm going to share the board with you where you will understand some basic concepts, and then we will go to what we are looking at actually in terms of the worksheets that we have. All right, so here it is about lines and angles. I hope you're able to see the board. And so lines and angles, what is it do we have? So some basic concepts before we go ahead, as I said. So lines and angles we will see what are the what is a point. What is a point? Point, it is a geometrical element with no dimensions. You know, when you give a point, it has no dimensions, no length, no height, nothing. These are dimensions. So a point has no dimensions. If you talk about a line, when you talk about a line is a straight line like this, and it will have arrows on both the end. The significance of these arrows is that it can continue from both the ends. You can extend this line from both the ends. That is the significance of this arrow. Then we have the line segment. The line segment. What is a line segment? A line segment is something that just goes straight like this, and you can actually just have two endpoints. You know, these are not arrows. So a line segment is a fixed line. It has endpoints. A line does not have an endpoint. That's basic difference. Talking about a ray. What is a ray? If you see, a ray is a mix of a line segment and a line, a segment and a line, so to say. So if we put up this line like this, if you draw a straight path, you put an arrow at one end and you put the end at one end. So this is a ray. Then we have the angle. What is the meaning of the angle? You take one line segment or one ray, and you take another ray or a line segment. They both are meeting at one point, this point. Correct? This part, this is called as an angle. You will measure it either 30 degree, 40 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, 70 degree, 90 degree, more than 90 degree, less than 90 degree, everything. Correct? So these are different things, basic concepts when before we go ahead in the chapter. Correct? Now, let us see what type of angles we are dealing with. So, are you able to see this? Okay, let us see. What type of angles are we dealing with? A couple of angles we deal with is we have a complementary angle, correct? Then a supplementary angle, an adjacent angle, a linear pair angle, and a vertically opposite angle. These are different type of angles. When we learn about lines and angles, this is what we are going to see. This is what we are going to focus on. So let us understand one by one complementary angle. What do you mean by complementary angle? What is the meaning of complementary angle? Complementary means, you see it is written here, when sum of the angle is 90 degree, when you add the two angles. So for example, suppose if you have this and this, and you have this and this. So if this is 60 and this is 30, if you add them, that is equal to 90. That means these two angles are complementary angles, correct? Now, if you take another one angle, sorry, you take one angle like this and you draw the two like this in between, then you can see that this angle plus this angle, they will form a 90 degree. Suppose this is say 50 degree and this is 40 degree. So 50 plus 40, that will also give you 90 degree. So in both the cases, these are this and this, both they are called as complementary angles. So what is the meaning of complementary angles? That if the sum of two angles is 90 degree, then the two angles are complementary to each other. That is what they say. Similarly, supplementary. When the sum of two angles is 180 degree, we say that they are supplementary to each other. What does it mean? It means that we are going to, suppose we take this angle. So say this is 110 degrees, and say we take another angle, sorry, and if this is 70 degrees. Now, if you add this two, you will get a 180. So that means this angle plus this angle, they are supplementary to each other. On the other side, if you have two angles where, suppose if I just draw a line here, and if I say this is 120 degree, and if this is 60 degree, then they are also called supplementary angle. There is another name also for this type of angle, but we will see as it goes ahead, correct? Because 120 plus 60 is equal to 180. That fits into the definition or the concept of supplementary angles, which is if the sum of two angles is 180 degree, the two angles are supplementary to each other. That is what it means. Correct. Now let us see what is called adjacent angles. What are adjacent angles? Adjacent angles means angles which are on the side by side. For example, if I take this one line and this one line, so this is one angle form, we can see, correct? And this is the vertex. I hope you know this is called the vertex. Now from the same vertex, if we draw another line, correct? If we draw another line and it forms another angle, correct? So this is angle 1 and this is angle 2. So 1 and 2, these angles are adjacent because they have a common vertex, which is this. This is a common vertex. And they have a common arm. They have a common arm. So such angles are called adjacent angles, where they have a common vertex and they have a common arm, correct? These angles are called adjacent angles. Then linear pair. Linear pair are angles which are a combination of supplementary and adjacent, both. I just gave you an example of adjacent supplementary angle, which is actually also an example of a linear pair. The word linear, it's very interesting to understand this. The word linear pair. The word linear comes from line, angles formed on one line. So when we have this line and we form this angle like this, or we have this line and we form this angle like this, or we have this line and you form this angle like this. All these are linear pair. Why? Because these are two angles formed on the same line. Are you getting it? These are two angles formed on the same line. Now we all know that measure of a line is equal to 180 degree. Measurement of one line. That means what? What do you mean by measurement? If you try to measure this entire angle, it is 180. Now, that means if this is 110 and if this is 170, if this is only 70, if this is 70, then 100 plus 70, that is equal to 180. Here, if this is 90 and this is 90, that means 90 plus 90, that will give you 180. If this is 60, or let us take this as 50 and this is 130, that means 50 plus 130, they will be 180. All of these, they are on one single line. If you want to name this line AB, if you want to name this line PQ, if you want to name this line MNN. So all these are on one single line. Such angles which are on one single line, their sum is always 180. These are called linear pairs. Getting it? Okay. So next is vertically opposite angles. What do you mean by vertically opposite angles? For example, if this is one line segment going on, if this is one line going on, and you cross it by any other line anywhere. It's not necessary at the center, anywhere. Then can you see it forms this angle, this angle. At the same time, it also forms this angle and this angle. The intention of writing the colors is that this red angle, this and this, they are vertically opposite. Opposite, you see, vertically, correct? And these two are also opposite. So vertically opposite angles are angles which are formed by intersection of two lines. Are you getting it? So these are the basic concepts that we need to understand when we talk about lines and angles. Okay, going ahead. There are different type of lines we come across when we learn maths. What are the different type of lines? Intersecting lines. Intersecting lines, simple. You draw one line and you cut it anywhere. These are intersecting lines. Anywhere, a line which cuts another line anywhere. That is intersecting line. On the contrary, bisecting lines. Bisecting means you have one line, you draw one line. Sorry, this color is not seen. One line, and exactly at the center, wherever you have given, exactly at the center. Can you see this? That means this side is equal to this side and this side is equal to this side. So these two lines are called bisecting. Bisect. Bisect means they cut each other exactly at the center. That's the meaning of bisecting lines. Then we have parallel lines. What is the meaning of parallel lines? Parallel lines means lines which never meet each other. We are going to study parallel lines a little more in detail. Then we have transversal. If there are two or more parallel lines, or if there are two lines. Okay, let's study about transversal a little more. I'm going to erase this up and see what is transversal. Suppose we have, these are non-parallel lines and these are parallel lines, correct? Now this line which intersects, or let me, the red line, okay, and this red line here. The line which is intersecting the two lines, this is called as the transversal. Here, this red line is called as the transversal. Transversal is a line which intersects two or more parallel or non-parallel lines, correct? That kind of line is called as a transversal. This is a very important line, and you see, we will learn more about transversal going ahead. All right. All right. Now let's see. What are parallel lines? Parallel lines which will never meet each other. Parallel lines have the same gradient and they are always equidistant. You see this, the background that we have, all these are parallel lines. They are equidistant, correct? Can you see this? All this, including the straight lines. These are also parallel. How much ever, you continue with the page, the lines will always remain parallel. They will never meet each other, correct? Next. I don't think you have gradients right now. We will come to gradient topic later. Okay. All right. Transversal. Transversal, we just saw what a transversal is. Suppose if we take these two parallel lines and this is a transversal. So this we know, this is called as the transversal. And transversal can form different angles with two parallel lines. So what are the two angles? Can you see this? This is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. This is E, F, G, H. Are you getting it? I'm going to go on to a blackboard so you understand that a little much better. Okay. So let's see if we take this line and this line, some properties of parallel lines we will see. Okay. So say this is angle A, as I said, this is angle B. This is angle C, and this is angle D. Then let's take this angle E, angle F. This is angle G, and this is angle H. So when a transversal intersects two parallel lines, it will form how many angles? It will form 8 angles. Can you see this? How many angles does it form? It has formed 8 angles. Correct? And all these angles, they have their own significance. Okay. For example, they have names, they have some properties. Okay. We will go to the next slide and I'll get you back to this slide to explain it more in detail. Okay. So, to what these angles are. Okay. Let's see. So, angles which are created by transversal and their properties. What are the properties? One is a corresponding angle. Angles on the same side of the transversal and same side of the parallel line. Which means what? For example, okay, one second. We'll do one thing. I'll just take this there. Okay. I hope you're able to see this. So we're talking about corresponding angles. What are corresponding angles? As I said, they are angles on the same side of the transversal. Same side of the transversal means either this side, that means this. We're talking about these four. Same side of the transversal and same side of the parallel line. That means what? Same side of the transversal means this side. Same side of the parallel line means either above the line or below the line, both, correct? So above the line means we are talking about angle B and angle F. What are the properties of parallel line? What are the properties of corresponding angles? So properties of corresponding angles are equal. They are equal. Corresponding angles are always equal. That's the main property of a corresponding angle. So therefore, we can say that angle B is equal to angle F. Which is angle B? Angle B is this. See? And angle F is this. Then angle C is equal to angle G. Correct? Which is angle C? This is angle C. Which is angle G? This is angle G. Correct? Now we have the other pair as well. What is the other pair we have? We have angle A is equal to angle E. Which is angle A? Angle A is this. And angle E is this. Okay. Then we have angle D is equal to angle H. Now, obviously, I don't have to tell you. It's very obvious that this is angle D and this is angle H. Can you see this? So, these angles are equal. What are they called as? They are called as corresponding angles. Corresponding angles, how you pronounce it doesn't matter. But the concept is that corresponding angles are on the same side of the parallel line and on the same side of the transversal. They are always equal. This is the basic concept. Are you getting it? Okay. Then let us see alternate interior angles. Okay. I'm going to take this to a new page so that every concept you understand it better. Okay. Let us see what is alternate interior angle. What is an alternate interior angle? So let's take two parallel lines. We have these two parallel lines and then we'll take the transversal with different color. Okay, so this is the transversal. Now we saw what are the angles formed there. I think we take the transversal like this. Yeah. So what are the two angles formed there? Of 8 angles, correct? What are the angles? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. 8 angles, right? 4 pairs of angles. Now, alternate interior angles means angles formed on the opposite side of the transversal, but in between two parallel lines because they are interior. They are on the interior. Angles on the opposite side of the transversal. They are on the opposite side of the transversal. Which is the transversal? This is the transversal. And where are they? They are on the opposite side. That means we are talking about which? They are talking about these two. And we are talking about these two. Correct? We are talking about these angles. So alternate interior angles. What's the main property of alternate interior angles? They are always equal. Alternate interior angle, they are always equal. Correct? Now, which are the pair of alternate interior angles? Can you see this? Angle D is equal to angle F and angle C is equal to angle E. These are pair of alternate interior angles. On the same thing, I'm going to explain you what is alternate exterior angle. These are alternate interior angles, and this is the concept of alternate exterior angle. What is alternate exterior angle? Exterior, which falls on the outside. Conceptually, it is the same on the opposite direction of the transversal, but on the opposite side of the transversal, but on the outside of the parallel line. This was in the inside of the parallel line. So, same thing, they are always equal. They are always equal. Now, which angles are we talking about? We are talking about angle A opposite. That means G. Angle A is equal to angle G. They are on the opposite side of the transversal, correct? They are on the opposite side of the transversal, on the exterior of the parallel line, the outside of the parallel line, correct? All right. And the next we have angle B, which is equal to angle H. So we have angle B, which is equal to angle H. Are you getting it? So these are called as exterior, alternate exterior angles. Are we getting it? Okay. Let's go to the next one. Then we have vertically opposite angles. What are vertically opposite angles? Vertically opposite angles are angles which when you cross the two lines. For example, let's take it here. Suppose these are, I already showed you what are vertically opposite angles, but here, if you take this, or let's do one thing. Let's take these two lines, and then we have this as the transversal. All right, so we have A, B, we have A, B, C, D, and E, F, G, H. All right, now we have to see what are vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angle, conceptually, we have already seen what they are, but yes, we will just understand it in more clarity when it comes to parallel lines. Okay, now angles formed at the crossing of the intersection of two lines. So for example, if this is your line 1 and if this is your line 2 and the green line is your transversal, if it's crossing, that means these two are vertically opposite angles. These two are vertically opposite angles, and E and G and F and H. Can you see this? So again, the property is that vertically opposite angles are always equal. They are always equal. So that means angle A is equal to angle C. Angle B is equal to angle D. Angle E is equal to angle G. And angle F is equal to angle H. I hope that's clear. It's not very complicated. Are we clear about it? Great. Okay. What's the next one? Co-interior angles. Co-interior angle is an absolutely different concept compared to what we saw right now. Let's see. We will see co-interior angles here. Okay, co-interior angles. Angles on one side of the transversal, but on the opposite side of the parallel line. Within, interior, co-exterior also. Co-interior concept is same. Co-interior means they are on one side of the transversal. That means if this is the transversal, they are going to be on one side. And they are going to be on opposite side. So if one is below the line, this is going to be on the above the line. That means we are talking about which two angles? We are talking about angle C and angle F, like this. They are called co-interior angles. What is their property? Sum of co-interior angles or even co-interior angles or co-exterior angles, we can say co-exterior angles. Their sum is always equal to 180, which means here we can say that angle C plus angle F, that will give you 180. They are not equal, okay? Their sum is 180. On the same side, you can say angle B and angle G. So angle B plus angle G, they are also equal to 180. Similar thing applies on the other side, correct? We have angle D and angle E. So we have angle D plus angle E, that will give you 180, and angle A plus angle H, that will give you 180. So this is what is co-interior or even co-exterior angles. I hope you're getting what I'm saying, correct? Great. Now, so I hope you've understood what we have until here. Okay. From here on, we will take ahead. I'll go to the details that we are actually looking for. Okay. I'll try to explain what is there in the worksheet that we have. All right. So I'm going to take the worksheet on the board so we know what we're talking about. Okay. So let's see. So this is the worksheet we have, right? One by one. All right, here it is. Now, if you look at the figure, okay, can you see this? They have asked you, look at the following figure. What is the value of X? What is the value of X here? Now, you can check that this angle plus this angle, they form a linear pair, correct? So can we say that X plus 60, that is equal to 180? Why do we say this? We say this because they are a linear pair, correct? Because they form a linear pair. And we just saw that sum of two angles when they're on linear pair is 180, correct? Now, that means X will be how much? It will be 180 minus 60. So X will give you 120 degrees. That is the value of X. So answer is C, correct? Which term best describes the relationship between the 60-degree angle and the angle labeled Y, which is Y? This is the angle Y, correct? They want you to tell the relation. This is the question 1 that we did. And this is going to be 2. So, which term best describes the relation between the 60-degree angle and the angle labeled Y? What do you think? We just saw this. When two lines intersect each other, at their intersection, we have two angles that are formed, correct? This angle and this angle, or this angle and this angle. What are they called? These are called vertically opposite angles, correct? They are called as vertically opposite angles. So is that the same relation? Can you see this? Obviously, because 60 and Y, they are across the intersection point. If they are across the intersection point, obviously they are going to be vertically opposite. That means the answer to the second question is that the relation between 60-degree and Y is vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angle. I hope you're getting it. Correct? Now, I'm going to stop this recording here. And if you understand what we have done until now, okay, then I go ahead further and record the remaining things for you. Are you getting it? First, I want to know whether it is successful, that this recording is working. If it's working, then we go ahead and we continue with the remaining part. All right, Danny? All right, then. Thank you. Bye-bye.